Hey everybody, welcome to Lemon's World. We're going to talk about Sebring, famous racetrack, famous race. Now, Lemons has been there once before in 2014. That was a long time ago. We're going back in 2021, and as we did way back when, if you enter a Chrysler Sebring, you get to run that car for free. Why? Because Chrysler Sebrings are terrible. That's going to be great. It's Mother's Day, so we're also letting you bring your mom. If you're a mother, once you filled out your team, you just tell your kids like, hey, mom wants to race. You can come and you can drive the race car for nothing. That's going to be spectacular too.
The one problem is, when we went to Sebring, it was like 7 years ago, so we have no recollection of what it was like. If only there was a video that we could review. Hey, wait a minute, there is! We've got Lemon's wrap-ups going all the way back to 2012. If you want to waste a whole bunch of time at work, you can go back and watch them all, but I think for now, we should remind ourselves of what life was like at the Lemons race at Sebring.
Hey everybody, it's Jay and Nick.
What kind of look is that? That's horrifying. What are we trying to do there?
I think we were going for this is a newscast and we're sitting at the evening update desk. I think that was the idea. And it really does illustrate that you can put a lot of effort into something and it doesn't work at all, and you should really start with doing the minimum and seeing if that's bad, because if it's not, then you don't need to spend any more effort.
Let's continue.
We are just back from Sebring, Florida, and the Humidity T. Now, Sebring, American car companies, they love nothing more than to take their most terrible, horrible piggy car and tart it up with a famous racetrack name. Sebring is no different. The worst Chryslers of all time.
We keep making that same gag. We just made that same gag in the Bonneville wrap-up we recorded 30 minutes ago. It's either evergreen or we have no sense of humor.
So at this race, we had a race within the race. The 12 hours of Sebrings. Bring a Sebring, get in free. Two teams took us up on it, NSF and Speedy Cop. It was a battle royale to see who could come in, at the bottom 15% versus the bottom 12%. Speedy Cop beat it out, barely. Two awful cars. Both teams said as soon as the race was over, we are getting rid of these things. They are butt terrible.
On the subject of butt terrible Chrysler.
Now, let me just point out, I think Speedy Cop did get rid of his Sebring about 20 minutes after the checkered flag fell. NSF, that car stuck around at least until I think it was MSR 2019 when we finally crushed it with a tank.
We have a racer named William Riker. Yeah, not that William Riker.
We have to always get the William Riker in there.
Yeah, where has William Riker been?
I don't know, he's kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
He's probably waiting for the movie franchise to restart.
So, sure enough, we had a big storm move through. People are seeking shelter, filling up their kiddie pools, whatever it is they're doing. And the track has a horrible drainage system. And then there's like a lake on the front straightaway. But Sebring, they're no rookies with this kind of
50
thing.
years of experience.
Yeah, and they've got this perfectly choreographed system to completely dry the track easily, and it involves taking their 5 tow trucks, driving them back and forth across the front straight for about 45 minutes.
That was really a long cut.
It was incredibly long. I think the vision that we might have had was to try to get that Family Guy chicken fight effect where it's funny at first and then there's a middle part where you're like, what is even happening? I've been watching this for 5 minutes, and then at the end it becomes funny again. Whether or not we actually achieved that may be up for debate, but I think that was the logic.
That same storm rolled through, hit the tower, fried all of the timing and scoring equipment, made it into this giant.
I had forgotten that we had just, back in the green screen days when we could, be in one room together, I had forgotten that John was just liberally sprinkling in more or less random non-secretarial clips. Although I think that must refer to the flooding on the main straight. But I kind of missed that. That stuff was really good.
Melted mass of rubber and extremely expensive metal and silicon. Roland and Stephanie Hahn, they're our chiefs of timing and scoring.
Isn't that the same font for Magnum PI? We don't use that anymore.
Yeah, it definitely is the same color scheme as Magnum PI, which, very appropriate for a tropical locale.
So this was pretty great. They took all of this smoking hulk that got zapped by lightning, took it apart, plugged stuff in, duct tape, wires, coat hangers. They made it work again before we even got the cars back out on the track. They got the heroic fix. The backside of the heroic fix is the I Got Screwed trophy, and for renting an incredibly expensive famous racetrack and only having 28 cars actually pay and show up, I got the I Got Screwed trophy.
That's going to happen again.
That just brings us to the index of effluency, which of course goes to the 1964 Ford Fairlane of Team Fairly Lame. Now this car looks great as long as you're standing far enough away.
Is that the one that's still running?
I was thinking the same thing. I think that a Fairlane very similar to this one is still racing like at CMP. So yeah, it very well could be.
It sounds cool even though it's going incredibly slowly, and it looks cool on track even though it's impossible to control. Our kind of machine.
Yeah. That just takes us to Lemons in a nutshell.
This thing is so incredibly butt slow.
Thunderbird!
Yeah, dude, that looked good.
Well, okay, I guess that's that. Nick, any parting advice?
Yeah, well, like we said at the beginning, we've got videos going all the way back to 2012. If Sebring isn't your thing, we recommend you waste your time watching some other old video where we had badly conceived of comedic bits and poor production quality. It's completely different now. So if you want to go back and look to see how far we've come, we encourage you to do that.